Imagine waking up one morning and that familiar ache in your knee, that stiffness in your shoulder, that nagging pain in your hip. It's not just there. It's screaming. It's dictating your day before you've even had your first sip of coffee. You try to ignore it, just like you always do, but today it's different. It's not a whisper anymore, it's a roar, and it's taking away your ability to do the things you love: playing with grandkids, gardening, even just walking the dog. What if I told you that the culprit, the hidden trigger for this relentless joint pain that so many of us over 50 are battling, isn't what you think it is? It's not just getting older. It's something far more insidious, something we're almost certainly doing or not doing every single day, and it's robbing us of our freedom and our joy. This isn't about accepting joint pain as an inevitable part of aging. This is about uncovering a powerful secret, a key that can unlock a future where you move with ease, where those aches and pains become a distant memory, not a daily companion. Think about it. How many of your friends, your siblings, even your spouse are silently suffering? They're taking more pain medication. They're canceling plans. They're watching life from the sidelines, all because they're missing a crucial piece of the puzzle. Statistics show that osteoarthritis, a leading cause of joint pain, affects over 30 million adults in the United States alone, and that number escalates dramatically after the age of 50. The financial burden of managing joint pain is astronomical, but the human cost, the loss of independence, the emotional toll, the sheer frustration is immeasurable. It's the missed birthday parties, the inability to lift your grandchild, the dread of climbing stairs, the quiet evenings spent alone because you're too stiff or too sore to go out. It's the feeling of your body betraying you when all you want is to live life to its fullest. But what if there's a simple, overlooked factor, a hidden trigger that's exacerbating this pain, making it worse than it needs to be? And what if understanding and addressing this one thing could dramatically change your relationship with your joints, bringing back comfort, mobility, and a renewed sense of vitality? We're going to dive deep into this hidden trigger, exploring its subtle manifestations, its far-reaching consequences, and most importantly, providing you with a clear, actionable roadmap to reclaim your joints and your life. This is for anyone who's tired of feeling like their body is holding them back, for anyone who believes that life after 50 should be about more than just managing aches and pains. This is about empowerment. Let's start by dissecting the very nature of this hidden trigger. It's not a sudden injury, not a genetic predisposition that you can't control. Instead, it's something deeply rooted in our modern lifestyles, something so commonplace that we rarely consider its profound impact. We're talking about the pervasive, yet often ignored factor of chronic, low-grade inflammation, specifically driven by the quality and type of fats we consume. Now, before you click away, thinking this is just another diet lecture, hear me out. This isn't about a fad diet or cutting out everything you love. This is about understanding how certain fats, the ones lurking in many of our everyday foods, are silently attacking your joints, creating an inflammatory cascade that makes existing pain worse and can even initiate new discomfort. Consider this: every single cell in your body has a membrane made of fats. The type of fats you consume directly influences the composition and function of these membranes. When we consume an excess of certain fats, primarily the highly processed omega-6 rich oils that are ubiquitous in processed foods, fried items, and many restaurant meals, we shift the balance within our bodies. Our bodies are designed to have a balance between omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids, which are both essential. However, the typical Western diet is heavily skewed towards omega-6, creating an inflammatory environment. Think of omega-6 fats as the accelerants for inflammation and omega-3 fats as the fire retardants. When the accelerants far outweigh the retardants, your body's natural inflammatory response, which is supposed to be a short-term healing mechanism, becomes a chronic low-level burn, constantly smoldering. This chronic inflammation doesn't just sit in one place, it's systemic. It infiltrates your joints, irritating the delicate tissues, the cartilage, the synovial fluid. It's like pouring sand into the gears of a finely tuned machine. The cartilage, which acts as a shock absorber between your bones, becomes thinner, drier, and less effective. The synovial fluid, which lubricates your joints, can become thicker and less viscous. This leads to increased friction, stiffness, and pain. It's not that your joints are inherently worn out. It's that the internal environment, influenced by your dietary fat intake, is making them work harder and suffer more. Think of a favorite old armchair. You love it because it's comfortable, supportive. Now, imagine you start spilling sugary drinks and greasy snacks all over it, not cleaning it up properly, letting residue build up over time. That comfortable armchair becomes sticky, stiff, maybe even starts to smell a little unpleasant. The fabric is compromised. Your joints are no different. The inflammatory load from an imbalanced fat intake is like that constant, unseen grime that degrades the comfort and function of your beloved armchair. You can't see it, but it's there, subtly but surely, making everything worse. Let's delve into the subtle, yet powerful signs that your fat intake might be a hidden trigger for your joint pain. These are often dismissed, overlooked, or attributed to other factors. But when you see them accumulating, it's time to pay attention. The first major sign is a morning stiffness that lingers longer than you think it should. We all expect a bit of stiffness when we first get out of bed, especially as we get older. That's natural, but what's not natural is when that stiffness doesn't just ease up after 5-10 minutes. If you're finding yourself shuffling around for 20-30 minutes, sometimes even an hour, trying to loosen up your knees, your hips, your fingers, and it feels like your joints are made of concrete, that's a significant clue. This isn't just about sleeping in an awkward position. This prolonged stiffness is a hallmark of inflammation settling into your joint tissues overnight. The inflammatory cytokines, the chemical messengers of inflammation, are more active during periods of rest and inactivity. When you wake up, your body is trying to clear them. But if your internal environment is chronically inflamed due to your fat intake, this process is sluggish. Your synovial fluid might be a bit thicker, your joint capsules a little tighter, and the inflammatory molecules are actively irritating the cartilage and surrounding tissues. It's like trying to start a cold engine on a frosty morning. It takes a while to get going and it's not smooth. This lingering stiffness is your body's way of telling you that something is amiss internally, that the inflammatory environment is hindering the natural lubrication and smooth movement of your joints. Consider Eleanor. Eleanor is 62, a retired librarian. She used to love her morning walks, but for the last year, her knees have been protesting. She'd wake up and it would take her a solid 45 minutes of gentle stretching and moving around before she could walk without a noticeable limp. She'd dismiss it, saying, "Oh, it's just my age. I've done too much walking in my life." She tried ibuprofen, which helped a little, but the underlying stiffness remained. She was resigned to shorter walks, less gardening, and always feeling a bit restricted. She never considered that the frequent fried foods she enjoyed at local diners, the processed snacks she kept in her pantry, and the ubiquitous vegetable oils used in almost everything she ate might be the very things keeping her joints locked in that morning struggle. Her body was crying out for a change in its internal chemistry, a shift away from the pro-inflammatory fats that were making her joints stiff and painful. The second sign is this pain that worsens with activity, but also feels worse after periods of inactivity. This might sound contradictory, but it's a very common pattern in inflammatory joint conditions. You might experience pain during activity because your inflamed joints are under more stress. However, the real clue here is the increased pains after a period of rest. If you've been sitting for a while, perhaps reading or watching television, and when you get up, your joints feel exceptionally stiff and painful, that's a strong indicator of inflammation. This is because during inactivity, the inflammatory byproducts aren't being flushed out as effectively by movement. They can accumulate, and then when you try to move again, you're essentially introducing friction and pressure to an already irritated environment. It's like trying to walk through thick mud. The initial steps are slow, heavy, and uncomfortable. This pattern suggests that the inflammation is not just present, it's actively impacting the joint's ability to recover and remain comfortable during rest. It's your body's way of saying, "I'm inflamed, and even a little bit of rest makes it worse when I try to start moving again." This is directly linked to the chronic inflammation fueled by those imbalanced fats. Think of David, a retired carpenter, 70 years old. He'd notice his knees would ache when he was working in his shed, especially if he had to stand for long periods. But what really bothered him was after a relaxing Sunday afternoon nap. He'd wake up, try to get up, and his knees would feel like they were going to buckle. The pain would be sharp, and it would take him a good 15 minutes of slow walking around the house before the stiffness eased. He'd always attributed this to overdoing it the day before, or maybe the weather. But the truth was, his diet, heavy on processed convenience meals and restaurant food, was constantly feeding his internal inflammatory fire. The fats in these foods were creating a persistent inflammatory state, making his joints hypersensitive to any change in activity, including rest. The post-nap pain was a direct consequence of this built-up inflammation. The third sign, often subtle and easily missed, is a pervasive feeling of fatigue or sluggishness that doesn't seem to have a clear cause, especially around the joints. Tough chronic inflammation is a massive drain on your body's energy reserves. Your immune system is constantly working overtime to manage this low-grade inflammatory state. This is like running a constant low-level fever, but without actually feeling feverish. Your body is using up energy to fight this internal battle, and a significant portion of this battle is happening within your joint tissues due to the inflammatory fats. You might feel tired all over, but often this fatigue is localized or exacerbated around your painful joints. It's a heavy, dragging sensation, as if your joints themselves are tired. You might find yourself wanting to sit down more often, not just because of the pain, but because you feel an overwhelming lack of energy, particularly in your limbs. This is your body's energy being diverted to manage the inflammatory response, leaving less available for smooth, effortless movement and general vitality. Imagine Margaret, 68, a former nurse. She'd always been active, but lately she found herself feeling utterly drained, even after a full night's sleep. She'd get out of bed and her hands would feel stiff and achy, but also just heavy. It wasn't just pain, it was a lack of responsiveness, a feeling of fatigue that seemed to emanate from her joints. She tried increasing her iron intake, thinking it was anemia, but nothing seemed to help. What she didn't realize was that the constant consumption of margarines, baked goods, and commercially prepared sauces, all loaded with inflammatory omega-6 rich oils, was creating a significant inflammatory burden. This inflammation was consuming her body's resources, leaving her feeling perpetually tired and her joints feeling sluggish and heavy, rather than energized and ready for movement. The fourth crucial sign is a decrease in your range of motion that seems disproportionate to any perceived injury. You might not have had a specific fall or twist, but you notice you can't bend your knee and as far as you used to, or reaching overhead feels restricted, or twisting your torso is now a painful endeavor. This isn't just a general stiffening. It's a loss of the smooth, gliding movement that healthy joint tissues provide. The chronic inflammation, fueled by unhealthy fats, leads to thickening of the synovial membrane, a decrease in the lubricating properties of synovial fluid, and sometimes even minor swelling within the joint capsule. All of these factors contribute to mechanical restriction. It's like having a slight build up of residue on a hinge. It still works, but it doesn't open and close as freely as it once did. The loss of range of motion is a direct consequence of the inflammatory process, compromising the joint's internal mechanics, making it harder for the bones to glide smoothly over each other. Consider Robert, 72, a retired teacher. He'd always enjoyed swimming, but lately he found himself struggling with his freestyle stroke. His shoulder felt stiff and he couldn't get the same rotation he used to. There was no specific injury, no dramatic event. He just found it increasingly difficult to lift his arm overhead and rotate it fully. He'd assumed it was just wear and tear. However, his diet included a lot of processed snacks and salad dressings, which were packed with soybean and corn oil. This constant influx of inflammatory omega-6 fats was creating a subtle but significant inflammatory response in his shoulder joint, the tissues around his rotator cuff, the synovial fluid, and even the joint capsule itself were becoming less pliable, leading to that frustrating loss of range of motion. He was losing the ability to perform simple fluid movements without discomfort, all because of an internal inflammatory environment. The fifth and perhaps most emotionally resonant sign is the growing avoidance of activities you once loved, coupled with a subtle shift in your social interactions. This isn't just about physical pain, it's about the emotional and social cost. If you find yourself saying no more often, making excuses to avoid social gatherings that involve walking, dancing, or any physical activity, it's a red flag. Perhaps you're not joining the grandkids for a game of catch, or you're skipping the family vacation because you're worried about the stairs, or you're just not going out for dinner with friends anymore because the thought of sitting for too long makes your hips ache. This avoidance is a self-protective mechanism, but it's also a sign that the joint pain, exacerbated by underlying inflammation from your fat intake, is significantly impacting your quality of life and your connection with others. You might also notice yourself feeling a bit more irritable, frustrated, or even depressed because your body feels like it's betraying you and limiting your ability to participate fully in life. This emotional toll is as real and as damaging as the physical pain itself, and it's directly tied to that internal inflammatory state. Think of Susan, 65, a retired florist. She used to be the life of the party, always ready for a dance or a hike. But over the past few years, her knees and ankles have become so stiff and painful, especially after sitting, that she started declining invitations. She'd make up excuses about being tired or having other commitments, but deep down, she was afraid of the pain and the embarrassment of not being able to keep up. She missed her niece's wedding reception because she couldn't stand or dance. She felt isolated and a bit ashamed. Her diet was filled with pastries, fried chicken from fast food restaurants, and pre-made meals, all common sources of inflammatory omega-6 rich oils. This constant dietary inflammation was not only causing her physical pain, but also creating a barrier between her and the social connections that were vital to her well-being. The joy was draining out of her life, replaced by a fear of movement and a growing sense of loneliness. Now that we've identified these key signs and understood the underlying role of inflammation from imbalanced fats, let's talk about reclaiming your joint health. The good news is that this hidden trigger is also your greatest opportunity for change. By making strategic shifts in your dietary fat intake and adopting supportive lifestyle habits, you can significantly reduce inflammation, alleviate pain, and restore mobility. This isn't about deprivation, it's about intelligent nourishment and conscious choices. Our first cornerstone solution is to consciously reduce your intake of omega-6 rich vegetable oils and processed foods. This is the most direct way to address the root cause of the imbalanced fat ratio. What does this practically mean? It means becoming a label detective. What to reduce? Look for oils like soybean oil, corn oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, canola oils, rapeseed oil, and cottonseed oil. These are everywhere. They are the backbone of most processed snacks, baked goods, dressings, margarines, and are used extensively in fried foods and restaurant cooking. Even foods that don't seem inherently fatty, like bread, crackers, and cereals, often contain these oils. How to apply it? Et1s at home me. Start by clearing your pantry and refrigerator of items, primarily listing these oils in the first few ingredients. Replace them with healthier alternatives for cooking and dressing. 2. In restaurants. This is where it gets tricky, but you can ask questions. Opt for grilled, baked, or steamed dishes. If you order salads, ask for dressings on the side and choose vinaigrettes made with olive oil or avocado oil, or simply request lemon juice and a drizzle of olive oil. Avoid anything that sounds deep fried or breaded. Many restaurants are becoming more accommodating to dietary needs, so don't be afraid to inquire about ingredients. 3. Snacking. Swap out crackers, chips, and cookies made with these oils for whole fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds in moderation, as they also contain fats, but the beneficial kind. Size YY, it works by reducing the primary source of excessive omega-6 fats. You begin to recalibrate your body's inflammatory response. This is like turning down the volume on a loud, irritating radio station. Over time, your body can start to re-establish a healthier balance between omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids, leading to a systemic reduction in inflammation. As to how to adapt DS, if you find it overwhelming, start small. Pick one meal occasion a day, like breakfast, and ensure it's free from these oils, or focus on eliminating one category of processed food per week. The goal is gradual, sustainable change, not perfection overnight. F. What to watch out for. Initially, you might feel a slight withdrawal or even a temporary increase in cravings as your body adjusts. This is normal. Stay focused on the long-term benefits and the taste of whole, unprocessed foods. Our second essential solution is to actively increase your intake of omega-3 fatty acids and healthy monounsaturated fats. These are the counterbalance to the inflammatory omega-6s. They act as your body's natural anti-inflammatories and joint protectors. Also, what to focus on, you see, omega-3 is see fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, herring, sardines, anchovies. Aim for at least 2 servings per week. If you don't eat fish, consider algae-based omega-3 supplements discussed later. So about plant-based sources, flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds, walnuts. These contain ALAs, alpha-linolenic acid, which your body converts to EPA and DHA, the most beneficial forms of omega-3s. Though the conversion rate is not as efficient as from fish, it's still beneficial to include these. The monounsaturated fats, especially extra virgin olive oil. Use it for cooking at medium heat in dressings and as a finishing oil. It's rich in oleocanthal, an anti-inflammatory compound similar to ibuprofen. Further than avocados in salads, on toast, or as a snack. N7 nuts and seeds, almonds, walnuts, pecans, macadamia nuts, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds. How to apply it? 1. Breakfast. Add a tablespoon of ground flax seeds or chia seeds to your oatmeal or yogurt. Sprinkle walnuts on your cereal. 2. Lunch. Make a salad with salmon or canned sardines and dress it with extra virgin olive oil. Add half an avocado to your sandwich or salad. 3. Dinner Yisin enjoy baked or grilled fatty fish twice a week. Use olive oil for salt-eating vegetables or roasting chicken. Add a handful of almonds or walnuts to your meal as a side. 4. Snacking. A small handful of mixed nuts, a few Brazil nuts, great for selenium too, or half an avocado can be a satisfying and anti-inflammatory snack. Why it works: because omega-3 fatty acids, particularly EPA and DHA, directly reduce the production of inflammatory molecules in your body. They help to calm the inflammatory response. Monounsaturated fats also have anti-inflammatory properties and are essential for cell membrane health. Together, they help to restore a healthy inflammatory balance, reduce joint swelling, and improve the lubrication of your joints. Olive oil's oleocanthal acts like a natural KIOX inhibitor similar to NSAIDs, but without the side effects. How to adapt this? If you're not a fish eater, don't despair. Focus on the plant-based omega-3 sources daily. Ensure your flax seeds are ground for better absorption. You can also explore algae-based omega-3 supplements as a direct source of EPA and DHA. As what to watch out for: while these fats are healthy, they are still calorie dense. Portion control is important, especially with nuts and oils, if you are managing your weight. Also, ensure your fish is sustainably sourced. Our third vital solution involves strategic supplementation. While a whole foods diet is paramount, targeted supplements can offer a powerful boost, especially when you're dealing with chronic inflammation and joint pain. SEB supplement suggestions: Nourish omega-3 fish oil or algae olifeft benefit directly provides EPA and DHA, the most potent anti-inflammatory omega-3s. Is why it works: reduces inflammatory cytokines, helps build healthier cell membranes, and can improve joint lubrication. Velocious dosage consideration is aim for a combined total of 1,000–3,000 ml of EPA and DHA per day. Look for products that specify the amounts of EPA and DHA, not just total fish oil. What to avoid: cheap, unpurified fish oils that can be rancid or contain heavy metals. Look for third-party testing for purity and potency. Foresees possible interactions can thin the blood, so if you are on blood thinning medications like warfarin, consult your doctor before taking high doses. Curcumin from turmeric and benefit, a powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant compound. Why it works: curcumin blocks inflammatory pathways and molecules in the body, offering significant relief for joint pain and stiffness. Far as dosage consideration, and standard doses range from 500 to 2,000 mg per day, often formulated with piperine as black pepper extract to enhance absorption. First, what to avoid: the products with very low curcuminoid content or without a bioavailability enhancer. For possible interactions: generally safe, but can interact with blood thinners, stomach acid reducers, and diabetes medications. Consult your doctor. Vitamin D is benefit, crucial for bone health and immune function, and plays a role in reducing inflammation. Why it works: as low vitamin D levels are often linked to increased inflammation and musculoskeletal pain. It helps with calcium absorption and muscle function. Fides dosage consideration, as this is highly individual and depends on your current levels. Get your vitamin D tested. Typical recommendations range from 1,000, 4,000 IU daily, but your doctor can guide you to the optimal dose. 30 what to avoid the megadoses without medical supervision, as it can lead to toxicity. Errors, possible interactions, can interact with certain heart medications and steroids. Is how to apply consistently. Take supplements with meals, especially those containing fats, to maximize absorption. Set reminders on your phone or integrate them into your morning routine. Discuss your supplement regimen with your doctor or a registered dietitian to ensure it's appropriate for your individual health needs and doesn't interact with any medications. Why it works. Supplements act as targeted interventions to bolster your body's ability to combat inflammation and support joint repair, especially when dietary changes alone might take longer to show significant results. How to adapt this. If you don't like pills, look for liquid fish oil or gummies. Check sugar content for gummies. Curcumin can also be found in powdered forms or even added to food. What to watch out for. Always prioritize quality and purity. Be patient. Supplements take time to exert their effects. Our fourth critical solution involves ours: gentle, joint-friendly exercise and mindful posture. Dog's movement is medicine for your joints, but how you move and how you hold yourself matters immensely. Here's exercise recommendations. Low impact aerobics, swimming, water aerobics, cycling, stationary or regular, and brisk walking. Benefit: improves cardiovascular health, strengthens muscles supporting the joints, enhances joint lubrication, and burns calories to help manage weight, which reduces joint stress. Why it works. These activities allow for fluid joint movement without the jarring impact that can aggravate inflamed joints. The water's buoyancy reduces stress on weight-bearing joints. How to apply. Aim for at least 30 minutes most days of the week. Start slowly and gradually increase intensity and duration. Strength training using light weights, resistance bands, or your own body weight. Focus on exercises that strengthen the muscles around your major joints. Quadriceps for knees, glutes and hamstrings for hips, shoulder muscles for shoulders. Ferrous benefiti, stronger muscles provide better support and stability for your joints, reducing the load directly on the joint itself. This can significantly decrease pain and improve function. Why it works. Muscle weakness is a major contributor to joint instability and pain. Building muscle mass around a joint acts like a natural brace. How to apply. Perform 2-3 sessions per week, focusing on compound movements that work multiple muscle groups. For example, squats, even partial range if needed, lunges, push-ups, modified on knees if necessary, rows and shoulder presses. Start with 8-12 repetitions, aiming for a weight that feels challenging by the last few reps. Reverse flexibility and balance exercises, yoga, tai chi, pilates, and simple stretching routines. For benefit: improves range of motion, reduces stiffness, enhances balance, and can alleviate pain. Why it works. These practices help maintain the elasticity of muscles and connective tissues, improve joint mobility, and in the case of balance exercises, prevent falls that can lead to further joint damage. How to apply is incorporate 10-15 minutes of stretching daily or several times a week. Gentle yoga or tai chi classes can be highly beneficial. Focus on poses that gently lengthen muscles around the hips, knees, and shoulders. Mindful postures, right? What it is, being aware of how you sit, stand, and move throughout the day. Benefit. Correct posture minimizes stress on your joints, prevents muscle imbalances, and can alleviate pain. So this is why it works. See, slouching or holding your body in misaligned ways puts undue pressure on your spine, hips, knees, and shoulders. For example, sitting with rounded shoulders can lead to neck and shoulder pain and also affect the biomechanics of your hips and knees. For how to apply gestam first sitting, keep your feet flat on the floor, knees at a 90-degree angle and back supported by a chair. Avoid crossing your legs for extended periods. Standing, you stand tall, shoulders back and relaxed, core gently engaged, and weight evenly distributed on both feet. Yes. Lifting it, bend your knees and lift with your legs, not your back. Balasex, daily checksy. Periodically check your posture throughout the day. Set a reminder to do a quick posture check every hour. What to watch out for. Listen to your body. If an exercise causes sharp pain, stop. Modify exercises as needed. Consult a physical therapist or certified trainer if you're unsure about proper form. For posture, focus on subtle corrections rather than trying to hold yourself rigidly. Our fifth transformative solution is about daily habits and a supportive mindset. And these are the often overlooked pillars that underpin all other efforts. First is habits. Hydration is BS benefits, supports joint lubrication and overall bodily function. Prior was why it works. Dehydration can thicken synovial fluid, making joints stiffer and more prone to pain. Water is also essential for flushing out inflammatory waste products. And as safe, how to apply S. Aim for at least 8 glasses of water per day. Carry a water bottle with you. Herbal teas count towards your intake. Sleep hygiene. Benefit crucial for the body's repair and regeneration processes, including tissue healing and inflammation reduction. Why it works. During deep sleep, your body releases growth hormone and other key restorative compounds. Poor sleep exacerbates inflammation. Says how to apply is aim for 7-9 hours of quality sleep. Establish a regular sleep schedule. Create a relaxing bedtime routine. And ensure your bedroom is dark, quiet, and cool. As stress management, as benefit reduces the body's stress response, which can amplify inflammation. Just why it works. Chronic stress triggers the release of cortisol, which can contribute to inflammation and pain sensitivity. How to practice mindfulness meditation, deep breathing exercises, spend time in nature, or engage in hobbies you enjoy. Even 5-10 minutes a day can make a difference. Nes mindset as 7 as positive self-talk as if benefit. Shifts focus from limitations to possibilities, reducing the emotional burden of pain. Why it works. Our thoughts and beliefs significantly influence our perception of pain. Focusing on what you can do rather than what you can't fosters resilience and encourages action. First, how to replace negative thoughts like I can't do this with positive affirmations like I am getting stronger each day, or I am taking steps to improve my joint health. Patience and persistency that acknowledges that healing is a journey, not an overnight fix. why it works. These significant, lasting changes take time. Understanding this prevents discouragement and promotes consistency. How to apply: celebrate small victories. Don't get discouraged by occasional setbacks. View every healthy meal, every gentle movement, and every moment of mindful rest as a step forward. By implementing these strategies, reducing inflammatory fats, increasing omega-3s and healthy fats, considering strategic supplements, moving your body mindfully, and nurturing positive daily habits, you are not just managing symptoms, you are fundamentally transforming your body's internal environment. You are shifting from a state of chronic inflammation to one of healing and resilience. The stiffness you feel in the morning can become a gentle reminder of your body waking up, not a painful prison. The aches during activity can lessen as your joints are better supported and lubricated. That pervasive fatigue can be replaced by a vibrant energy that fuels your passions. Your range of motion can expand, allowing you to reach, bend, and twist with newfound freedom. And the joy of participating fully in life with family, friends, and your own cherished activities can return stronger than ever. This is about reclaiming your power, your independence, and your quality of life. It's about making a conscious choice, starting today, to nourish your body, honor its capabilities, and unlock a future where your joints serve you rather than hinder you. You have the ability to make this profound change. Thank you for investing this time in yourself, for committing to a healthier, more vibrant future. Keep moving, keep growing, and keep discovering the incredible resilience of your body.